So, hello, everybody, and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Welcome back here at BSN. This is the BSN podcast here today. It is Monday, October 12th. Everybody's having a good day so far and having a good rest of their day yesterday. Or having a good day so far and a good weekend as well. I know I did have a good day so far today. We had another big packed sports weekend once again. All NFL played once again. Week 5, NFL, some more action. New York Jets stink it up again. We'll talk about that coming right up. Just frustrating as a fan. Frustrating, I'm sure, as players. They are, in fact, 0-5. The two main New York football teams, the Jets and the Giants, are now a combined 0-10. Just absolutely embarrassing for not only the Jets and the Giants, but for New York sports. You're talking about one of the biggest markets for sports. Some of the biggest name players have played in New York. Some of the biggest name franchises have played in New York. And you're going to sit here and tell me these two New York football teams are a combined 0-10. Now, one New York football team that is 0-5, the Giants, played very well yesterday. They've been in almost every game they've played. The New York Jets, on the other hand, have not. They've gotten their closest loss this year was every single game they've at least lost by at least 2 scores, and that's just horrible. I mean, you're talking about losing by at least 2 scores. You're talking about, the Giants yesterday lost on a game-winning field goal. Like, the Jets are losing. The Jets game is done. They're losing by 2 scores, so they're not even getting close. It's not even a close game for the New York Jets. But, the real big thing is that it is embarrassing for New York sports. The amount of big-name talents that have gone through the city and stuff and played so well. You have one of the biggest franchises. You have some big-name franchises like the Yankees. Everybody knows who the Yankees are. They're one of the richest franchises in all of sports. You got the Jets and the Giants. The Giants obviously have a very rich history. Have had a lot of great players come through there. They've had a lot of Hall of Famers come out of there. Jets too, not great rich history, but they have had some stars come out of there. Joe Namath, everybody knows who Broadway Joe is. It is embarrassing. And now you look at what happens to these teams, it's horrible. It's just really horrible. It's embarrassing to New York sports. It's embarrassing for the Jets and the Giants, so it is really bad. But we'll talk about that coming right up. Yankees obviously lost on Friday. I'm not going to really talk about that game. It is what it is. Yankees didn't hit. It's kind of frustrating, but I'm not really going to talk much about that game. It's happened Friday. It's Saturday, Sunday, now Monday. It's kind of old news by this point. You probably already know what happened. So, I'll talk about the MLB playoffs. I'll talk about, giving you my predictions and stuff. But all in all, I'm not really going to talk about the Yankees game. It's over. It's 3 days old. For me to sit here and talk about it, you probably already know what already happened. So, even if you didn't watch it on Friday, I'm sure you heard about it on Saturday and Sunday. I wouldn't have to sit here and tell you all what happened. So I'm not going to really talk about that. They lost. It is what it is. End of season. A lot of stuff I disagree with happened in that series, but, we'll just move on with it, and, we'll talk about it another time. These are our topics for today. We got the NFL games, / the Jets and the Giants. We're talking all the NFL, recapping this another Sunday of football. Then next up, we have the fantasy football results. We'll talk about the fantasy football, talk about if I won, if I lost, players that did well, players playing tonight. And kind of give you that. Also, my first topic, I'll be previewing the Saints game tonight. And then it's cap it off with some MLB playoffs. So once again, another packed podcast today. And, so those are the 3 topics we got today. With all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So the New York Jets stink it up once again. The New York Jets will now fall to a 0-5 record for the first time since 1996. Now, I will sit here and tell you this. I will tell it to you straight. I would not have thought, when I heard about this number yesterday, I would not have thought this was the first time the New York Jets started 0-5 since 1996. Because I feel like the Jets recently have been like this. Like last year they were like this. Last year they started off 1-7. The other year, 4-12, 5-11, 6-10, at 5-11, 4-12, those seasons like that, that's normal for New York Jets. So it is pretty surprising, but that's when you hit rock bottom. And we are 0-5. And the New York Jets are, in fact, 0-5. And we're at the bottom of the NFC East. Or the AFC, sorry. We're at the bottom of the AFC East. And we look at flat out miserable, we look flat out atrocious. I mean, this is just horrible. Week in and week out, every single week, it's the same exact New York Jets football. You get up on Sunday, you're like, maybe today's the day we pick up a win. Guess what? Nope, we don't. Every single Sunday. That is 5 games in a row. That's 4 Sundays, not 5 Sundays, because obviously the Jets played on Thursday night. That is 4 Sundays now. That is 5 weeks in a row. I've had to sit through a New York Jets absolutely collaboration of a loss. I don't even know if that's a word at this point. I've ran out of words to describe the Jets. An absolute miserable performance yesterday for the New York Jets. And I don't care if you sit here and tell me, oh, well, the Jets were only down by 7. They stopped them on that 4th down and 1. They could have drove. Yeah, you really think Joe Flacco would have drove them downfield and really would have scored a touchdown there? I don't know about that. And either way, maybe you do. Maybe if you score, maybe if you do. Well, yes, guess what? Our defense flat out plays horrible on that play. We got flat out looked embarrassed. Everybody starts running, run, finds the tight end wide open for a 20-yard gain. Just another one of those defensive brain farts. Greg Williams is supposed to be this insane defensive coordinator. His defense has been horrible this year. Horrible. Another 30-point let up. We've let up 30 points again. Again, this defense has let up 30 points. And let me talk about the offense. I mean, the offense is horrible. The offense. Oh, people are like, oh, Joe Flacco maybe can, create a spark. He didn't play horrible. Joe Flacco didn't play horrible. But he did not play good. He did not play horrible, but he did not play good. Yeah, he wasn't anything special. His completion percentage was, definitely could be better. He went 18-33, so that's not, and that ain't the ideal. Joe Flacco wasn't horrible. He was okay. He was all right. But the play calling, and this is where the Jets have to fire Gase. Dan Quinn, they're fired. The Falcons fired Dan Quinn. They are now 0-5. They fired him. The Jets are 0-5. Why in the world are we hanging on to Adam Gase? Yesterday in that game, 2nd down and 26. I'm pretty sure we just got off of either we took a sack, or it was a sack, or it was a planet penalty. I don't know. It was one or the other, because either way, the Jets penalize themselves all the time. There were so many stupid plays yesterday. Yeah, I can't even. It's just so bad. It's just so bad. And this is an NFL team. We're talking about an NFL team. I felt like I was watching Pee Wee football out there yesterday. I mean, it's embarrassing. This team shouldn't even be allowed to compete in the NFL. They should go down to play in Pee Wee, let them get a good record, come back up, and then they could start to play in the NFL. This team looks nothing like an NFL team. And they get Le'Veon Bell back, and we didn't even use him. The times we did use him, he did well, and this is the same Adam Gase's stupid response in his interviews. Oh, well, why couldn't you get Le'Veon Bell involved? Well, because, obviously, just couldn't. We just couldn't. Why couldn't you? Because you never had him out. He was never even out on the field. And Gase is the problem. It's not Bell. Everybody's talking about Bell struggling. Yeah, it's because it's Adam Gase. How in the world can the guy do well when you say you want to get him in the receiving game? They said they want to give him targets. Adam Gase clearly said, oh, let's give Le'Veon Bell targets. Let's give him targets. Guess how many targets he had yesterday? He had 1 catch for 7 yards. Oh, we really want to get Le'Veon Bell the ball. Yeah, it really seems like you made a good effort getting him the ball. 1 catch for 7 yards. That's really good. 1 catch for 7 yards is really stellar. And once again, he only had 13 rushing attempts. Yeah, it's really stellar. Guess what? Frank Gore's out there. When Frank Gore was out there was a couple games Frank Gore was getting 22 attempts. Bell's out there. Oh, give him 13. Horrible. Adam Gase does not know how to coach an NFL team. And let me tell you this. 2nd down and 26. We ran the ball up the middle. 2nd down and 26. Talking about 2nd down and 26. And we run the ball up the middle for 1 yard. I mean, just where in the world can that be the right play call? Where in Adam Gaze's head does he think it's a good idea to run the ball on 2nd down and 26? I mean, just horrible. And then everybody talks about how bad the Jets are on 3rd down. Well, when your head coach on 2nd down runs the ball on 2nd down and 26 for 1 yard, then it sets up another 3rd down and 25, and more than likely he ain't going to convert on a 3rd down and 25 because the Jets aren't the Chiefs. Jets aren't the Seahawks. Joe Flacco's not Russell Wilson. So more than likely we're not going to convert on a 3rd down and 25 because our coach sets us up for failure the second play of the drive with a 2nd down and 26 decided to run the ball. I mean, are you that stupid? And we're 0-4. Going into yesterday's game, we're 0-4. We had 2 4th down and 1s early on in the game. Adam Gase is the first head coach to have 2 4th down and 1s within the first 5 minutes of the game in 26 years and decide to punt the ball on both of those times. That just goes to show you how much he doesn't believe in our offense. He doesn't believe in anyone on the offense. He doesn't believe in the running game. He doesn't believe in that. Guess what? On a 4th down and 1, 3rd down and 1, guess who he gives the ball to? He gives the ball to our tight end, who he says is a good fullback, and Trayvon Wesco. He gives the ball to him. He's got Le'Veon Bell back there and decides to give it to our tight end. Oh, yeah, he's really going to do real well. Tight end's going to run the ball really well. I mean, where in the world where in the world were the Jets when they hired Adam Gase? I mean, this has to be one of the worst hires. Then people are comparing him. This year, Richie Kotite was the Jets head coach. People are comparing him to him, and a lot of people think Gase is worse. Gase is horrible. He's supposed to be this brilliant offensive mind. What has he done to this offense besides ruin it? He's ruined this offense, not giving Bell a chance, ruining Darnold, not taking chances on 4th down instead of playing it conservative and punting. Oh, yeah, 4th down and 1. He was even 4th down and about a half a yard. We don't trust our offense, so we're going to punt it. Why would you punt? You're 0-4. You have nothing to lose. Try to win the game. Punting's not going to win you the game. Oh, the punter is not going to win you a ball game. This is just horrible. And once again, we lose by 20. Just absolutely horrible. And once again, going into halftime, we were down 17-3. Once again, going into halftime, can't even score a touchdown in the first half. Then it was 17-7 or 17-10, then 24-10, and then 30-10. They went for 2 and they missed it. So 30-10, the New York Jets lose. And this is now 0-5, and our season is 11. We're 11 games closer to 0-16. So the Jets are one step closer to 0-16. And I really do think we are an 0-16 team. And I don't know where in the world, how in the world can you not fire Adam Gase? Dan Quinn got fired. Bill O'Brien got fired. And Adam Gase is still sitting there as the Jets head coach. I mean, how in the world can that be possible? Like, are we watching the same thing that Christopher Johnson and the Jets are watching? Like, as fans, are they taping these games, putting them on TV, not really happening, and then, like, they're actually watching real stuff? Like, are the Jets secretly, like, 5-0? Like, are we watching, like, are we watching the same thing Christopher Johnson's watching? Because, like, this is just crazy. Like, are we watching the same thing he's watching? I mean, it's just horrible. Like, I don't understand where he doesn't get, we got to get rid of Gase. Like, where in the world? Like, horrible play call. 2nd down and 26. You run the ball up the middle. Why in the world? If you're going to run the ball, try to bounce it outside and get 5-10 yards, not run it up the middle and get stuffed. 2nd down and 26. Yeah, you heard me. 2nd down and 26. I mean, just horrible. Just absolutely the worst coach in the NFL. I would rather Dan Quinn than Adam Gase. I would rather Bill O'Brien's horrible, but I think Adam Gase is even worse. I think Adam Gase is the worst head coach in the NFL. It shows, you gotta be kidding me. Week in and week out, this guy is still standing on the sidelines, looking at his stupid play calling sheet, being like, what did I do wrong here? The biggest mistake ever. New York Jets hiring Adam Gase. So, Joe Flacco went 18-33, 195 yards, 10.8 was average, 1 touchdown, 2 sacks, and a rating of 82.3. Flacco didn't get sacked as many times as I expected him to. Decent. Flacco wasn't horrible. I mean, he wasn't amazing. I mean, he was, he went in there, did his job. I mean, he didn't get the win, but, nobody was expecting Flacco to go out there, throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. Nobody was expecting that. And if you were, then I don't know what to tell you. Bell had 13 attempts, 60 yards, 4.6 was his average, 13 was his long. Gore had 9 attempts, 30 yards. Crowder had another big day. I mean, I feel bad for him. I mean, this is a talented dude. 3 100-yard games in his first 3 games of the season. I mean, he's such a talented dude. He's just on a horrible team. Crowder went 8 receptions for 10 targets, 8 receptions, 116 yards, 14.5 was average, and 1 touchdown. Here's another thing, too. Chris Herndon. I mean, you talk about disappointment. Chris Herndon had 3 targets yesterday, 2 receptions for 24 yards. You talk about disappointment. A guy who 2 years ago, we were talking about being the future of this receiving core. Like, they were going to build this receiving core around him. Meaning, like, Chris Herndon's going to be that solid. He's going to be a set-in-stone tight end. And then, we build around him with the receivers and stuff. But, he would be, like, people were talking about 2 years ago, Darnold's rookie year. Chris Herndon had an amazing year. Everybody was, like, talking about how Chris Herndon could be Darnold's go-to guy. Like, that's the future right there. Chris Herndon and Darnold are the future of this Jets offense. Like, it's right there. Sure enough, that was not the case. I mean, you talk about it. Chris Herndon was just horrible. He had an amazing year 2 years ago in Darnold's rookie year. Last year missed all but one game. Played one game. He was suspended, and then he got injured. He played one game. Didn't do much. I mean, it's tough to judge him last year because he played one game. Comes back this year, and the guy can't catch the ball. He can't catch the ball, and when he does, it's nothing. It doesn't help the Jets. And Adam Gase raved about him in the early on in the season, saying he is, he's going to be Darnold's go-to guy. And you gave Ryan Griffin a nice big contract, and you haven't even seen him out on the field. Yesterday, he didn't even get targeted. Like, get Ryan Griffin involved, Gase. Just because you like Herndon doesn't mean, if he's struggling, doesn't mean you should still continue to go out there and let him rot. I mean, Herndon's been horrible. Luckily, he's not on a team where, everybody else around him is amazing. Because the Jets receiving core ain't very good either. So Herndon kind of gets, lost in the mix a little bit. But I wanted to really bring that up today. Everybody talks about the whole quarterback situation, the running back situation, the head coach. Herndon can get lost in it. Herndon can have a bad game, and people can kind of just be skip over it. But I wanted to take some time to do that. I mean, he's horrible. He is just horrible. Got to be one of the worst tight ends in the league this year. I mean, he's just so bad. Dropped the ball, caught the ball, then he fumbled it. Luckily got the recovery. I mean, he's just so bad. And they didn't even, and Ryan Griffin didn't even get targeted. Just horrible. Just absolutely horrible. So the Jets ended up losing, we all were expecting. I mean, just kind of I don't know really what else to say. It's just kind of one of those things where the New York Jets stink it up again. So the New York Jets and the New York Giants representing New York football right now are 0-10. Embarrassing. An embarrassment to the Jets. By the way, quick thing. Jets' schedule got changed from last week. They were supposed to play the Chargers last week due to the whole COVID thing with the NFL. The Jets' schedule got changed. And I said that on Friday, how much it can impact. The Jets had literally nothing to do with this whole Titans situation. And the Jets' schedule gets affected by it. Because you start connecting the dots, you put in bye weeks, put in other games, Jets now get affected. Where in the world could the Jets, you would have never thought the Jets would have got affected. They did. So instead of the Jets playing back-to-back against the Miami Dolphins, they will play next week, or this upcoming week. Instead of them against the Chargers, they will play this upcoming week against the Miami Dolphins in Miami at same time, 4:05 p.m. Eastern time, I'm pretty sure. So that's the same time, just a different opponent. Same time, same thing. They're away, they're on the road, just a different opponent. So that will be that for the Jets. So if you do Google or something that says the Chargers, that's not true. I don't know if they fixed that by now, but the Jets play the Dolphins this upcoming week. Same thing, same time, 4:05 p.m. Eastern time. Same thing, they're on the road, just a different opponent. So the Jets now move to 0-5, an embarrassment. Get rid of the head coach. I don't know how many more I have to say it. Now we move on to the next game, the Cowboys and the Giants. The Cowboys Out of the gate, the Cowboys look a little lost. Cowboys ended up winning 37-34. Just really just crazy. Just really just crazy. What happened in that game yesterday. So I first of all want to say, I hope that Dak has a speedy recovery. I first off want to make that clear. That was a horrible injury I had yesterday. Horrible injury. I mean, just a horrible injury. Really great dude, too. I'm a big fan of Dak. You know me on this podcast. I do think he's a very good quarterback. He's got a bright future ahead of him, I believe. I believe if next year, if it's not with the Cowboys, then it's with another team, because there's going to be a lot of speculation around if he's going to return with the Cowboys. Obviously, they signed him on an exclusive franchise tag for this year. Played well. I mean, he's never missed a start. The guy's never missed a start. Sadly, next week that will come to an end. He went through surgery yesterday. Was successful. His recovery time is 4 to 6 months. If I heard that correctly, it's 4 to 6 months. So let me think. When will he be back? Like he'll miss the rest of the season. I'm assuming, right? So 4 to 6 months. That's if it's October. That's November, December, January, February. Yeah. So he'll probably be around February, March-ish, right? February, March. He'll be ready. And if it takes the max 6 months, then he'll be ready in April. So he'll be ready for next year. He'll be back next season, is what I'm trying to say. He'll be back next season. The earliest he comes back, I think, is like February. But that doesn't matter either way, because this season will be over by then. So Dak is, in fact, done for the season, which will make for an interesting decision at the end of the year, since he only played 4.5 games, because he got injured, midway through the second game. Since he only played 4.5 games this season, is he going to get that French? Is he going to get his money? What is he going to do? I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, he showed in his 4.5 games he played. He showed that he deserves to get his money, including one 500-yard game. But, also with the injuries and, they played up against some bad defenses so far. You can make the argument that some of those games. But I do agree that I think he should get his money. I do think Dak's a top 10 quarterback. I know that's a big debate with him. I know it's a very, very big debate. I know a lot of people are, talking about, I know a lot of people are talking about, I know a lot of people are talking about the whole Jerry Jones thing, because Jerry Jones might not want to pay him, but I think he should get the money. But what I just want to say is you never like to see that out of a player. Even if you hate him, or you love him, whatever you do. I personally like him. Is he my favorite player in the NFL? I don't know, probably not, but I do really like him as a player. So hopefully he does get a speedy recovery and comes back well. You never like to see that, especially those injuries. He had an ankle compound fracture, which is just not fun at all. So really stinks for him, especially all he's been through. He's been through a lot already, and for that to happen really stinks, but hopefully next season he'll be back out there and playing football again at as high of a level as he plays it, even if it's not for the Dallas Cowboys and it's for another team. Hopefully for whoever he's playing with next season, he has a nice successful year and has a successful recovery. So that should be good. So hopefully Dak does well with that. As for the Giants, let's get to the New York Giants. The Giants, they played well yesterday. I mean, they played pretty well. We were expecting kind of one of these higher scoring games for the New York Giants just because of the defense that the Cowboys bring to the table. I mean, you could probably I think they have the worst defense in all the NFL. I think they're right there with the Falcons. I think the Falcons have a horrible defense as well. I think the Cowboys are worse. Although the Cowboys have played up against, I think, better offenses than the Falcons. I mean, you look at some of the teams the Cowboys have played. I mean, the horrible Giants offense put up 34 against the defense, which just goes to show you how bad their defense is. And their defense didn't have to be that good yesterday to stop the Giants. The Giants offense is horrible. Their defense had to be average to stop them, and their defense, once again, underwhelmed so many. So, they got to get better. They got to definitely get better. Their defense. Their offense is fine. Their offense put up another 37. I mean, their offense almost once again put up 40. But their defense has to be better in so many ways. And as for the Giants, their offense played pretty well yesterday, but I want to see them against a good offense, or against good defense, right? We've seen them this year struggle against good defenses. Yesterday, it's almost like, yesterday might have been a nice momentum game. Even though you lost, your offense showed a lot of positives, right? 34 points. It showed a lot of positives, right? It showed a lot of good strides. You took some big strides yesterday. I know it's against the Cowboys defense, but they did their offense did show a lot of positives, which is good for the New York Giants and, for them in, their season. Now their season's kind of long lost. They're 0-5. Their season is pretty much out the window at this point because they are 0-5. Even though they're in the NFC East, there's not much of a chance either way because I do think they're going to be a team that eventually will run away with this division. But the Giants, even though they are 0-5 and their season's pretty much long lost, gone, they did show some positives going into next week, and they do play a Redskins team who I struggle too. So maybe, the Giants have a possibility of, possibly, getting a win next week, getting a win, and, building on that win. You can't, you are 0-5 and they are really playing horrible, but, their season's pretty much done, same thing with the Jets. I mean, they're not going to probably make the playoffs, but the Giants, they did get something to build on yesterday. They did, even though they lost, they did get to see a big score on the board. They did get to see their team put up 34. But definitely going to be interesting. Definitely going to be very interesting to see what this happens to the New York Giants team. Jones once again he just can't seem to find the end zone. He just can't seem to get players. He just can't seem to find players in the end zone is what I should say. Freeman had a touchdown. Evan Ingram had a touchdown, rushing for both of them. Jones went 20 of 33, 222 yards, 11.1 was average, 2 sacks, and a rating of 80.6. Freeman had 1 touchdown, 60 yards. Evan Ingram had a rushing touchdown, 9 yards. Slayton had 11 targets, 8 receptions for 129 yards. Freeman, once again, Ingram, just kind of guys like that. Good performances yesterday for the New York Giants. Even though they lost, they were competitive and they were in that game for the whole game. So the New York Giants did, in fact, lose. They moved to 0-5, and now both New York teams are a combined 0-10, which is very embarrassing for New York sports. So now we move on to the other games. So let's move on to the Seattle Seahawks games. The Seahawks won 27-26 with a late score. Wilson hooked up with DK Metcalf. It was just another one of those big plays again. Just another one of those huge plays again. DK Metcalf had a big game. Wilson had a big game. The Vikings played hard. The Vikings played hard. You couldn't ask for much of a better performance out of the Vikings. They played hard. They played real good. The Seattle owned the second half. There's no other really way of saying it. Seattle, they owned the second half. They scored 27 points in the second half. There's just not much other way of saying it. They scored 27 points. They went into halftime flat. They came out not so flat, and they came out and dominated. So the Seahawks did, in fact, win. We already talked about the Cowboys-Giants game. The Browns and the Colts. The Browns played well against a very good defense. There's no other really way of saying it. The Browns played very, very well. Mayfield, they're 4-1. Mayfield had a good game. Kareem Hunt had a good game. Just guys here and there having quality games. This is, once again, the Browns now are playing pretty well. They're playing a good brand of football. There's really no other way of saying it. They're playing a good brand of football. They're really showing up every week in and week out, and this really looks like the Browns team everybody expected them to be. There's this huge, Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, even though he's on the IR. But this is the Browns team I think a lot of people expected to see. When they got Mayfield, when they got Beckham, when they got Landry, when they got Hunt, when they have Myles Garrett. When they have, Chubb, this is the Browns team everybody expected to see, and they're finally showing people that this is how good they could be. So the Browns are, in fact, 4-1, but it is going to be tough for them because, they are in a tough division. The Ravens and the Steelers, who both got big wins yesterday, are going to be the top 2 guys in the division, and now the Browns, are they going to be able to possibly upset and maybe try to upset and win that division? That should be very interesting. The Browns definitely, they have some big games coming up. For example, next week they play the Steelers. That's a big game for the division, right? There's a lot of big games for the Browns coming up. Obviously knowing that this is possibly a chance for them to maybe this year be in competitiveness, be in the contention for the division. Next week is a big game against the Steelers, and they got a big win against the Colts. They're 4-1. Dolphins, Niners. Dolphins won 43-17. The Niners look lost. I mean, Jimmy G got benched first game back from an ankle. Got benched. Couldn't play well against a good 49ers, against a bad Dolphins defense. I mean, this is just very odd. The Niners really are struggling. They fall at 2-3. They need to figure out things quick. They really do. Mullins got benched last week. Garoppolo got benched this week. They're down to their third string, CJ Beathard. Their injuries, they got a ton of injuries. They're just not in a good position right now. I think what the Niners need to do is they just need to take a deep breath and just figure things out. And they need to figure things out quickly. I mean, there's no other way of saying it. They do need to figure things out quickly because they are next week playing the Rams, who aren't going to get any easier for them. They are playing the Rams next week, which is not very fun, especially your defense put up 43 against the Dolphins. Fitzmagic's been playing very, very well, but I just don't know. The Niners just can't seem to get it together. Niners are really struggling. You could tell they're really missing Bosa, Solomon Thomas. You could tell they're really missing those big guys. Obviously, getting Mostert back did not give their offense any type of a boost yesterday. They fall to the Dolphins big, 43-17. So the Dolphins win that game. Raiders and the Chiefs. Raiders win. Chiefs struggled, including a couple Patrick Mahomes mistakes that you very rarely see late in the game. Very rarely see at all. Not only just late in the game, very rarely see at all. The Chiefs lose 40-32 and now move to 4-1 on the season. The Raiders hand them their first loss. And I know I said I did not jump on this whole Raiders thing. Everybody talking about how the Raiders could be very solid because they are 3-2. But the Raiders did show potential yesterday. Waller had a good day. Jacobs had a couple nice runs. Derek Carr had a good game. They showed potential yesterday. Their defense stepped up in huge moments in the game. Talk about possible drive where the Chiefs, late drive in the game where Mahomes is so good at. They got an interception. I mean, you could say their defense played very well. I mean, Mahomes, he threw a pick, especially late in the game. So, definitely, they definitely played really well, and they beat the Chiefs yesterday. I mean, their defense came up big in big moments. I know their offense played well, but you got to give some credit to that defense. I know they still let up 32 points, but if you look at the late game things, Mahomes very rarely makes those late game mistakes. He did yesterday because some big plays, very good coverages by the Raiders. Raiders win that game 40-32. Next up, we got the Steelers and the Eagles. Steelers won that game. I saw this coming. I know some people, they heard about the whole, the Eagles, they're winning, they beat the Niners, so on and so forth, and you're like, oh, yeah, we're feeling good. Wentz had a good game, and it got stopped quickly. That whole momentum shift they had, it stopped pretty quickly. The Eagles lose again. You talk about a big day for a rookie receiver in Chase Claypool. 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns Chase Claypool had. He had 4 touchdowns yesterday. Just an absolute huge day for him. 4 touchdowns, which was just unbelievable. Just insane. And they win 38-29. Roethlisberger played well. Claypool played really well. They had some big plays in that game. Really, 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 really good for that offense. The Steelers' offense was really playing well. Their defense played well, stepped up in big moments of the game and stopped them. Miles Sanders did have that huge 76, I'm pretty sure, yard run. Just a phenomenal performance by the Steelers. And the Steelers right now are riding high at, 4-0. They're riding high right now, 4-0. So, Steelers next week, that's going to be a fun matchup between them and the Browns. Should be a good game. Next up, we got the Rams and the Redskins. I'll tell you what. The Rams did win this one 30-10, but was really one of the biggest takeaways about this game was Alex Smith getting back on the football field. You obviously all know about Alex Smith. He went through that huge, gruesome injury, that horrible injury he suffered. Really was great to see him back out there. Although he did not play very well, we went out there and he, although he did not play very, very, very great, he had 9 for 17, 37 yards, 4.1 was his average, and he endured 6 sacks. Although he struggled, it was really great to see him back out there on the field. It really was. I know he struggled, and I know the Redskins lost, but the fact that he was back out there on the field to play again after all that he's been through was just in awe. It was just unbelievable. It was really just crazy. And I know everybody talks about the comeback player of the year, and you have to be good for it. You have to make sure that you're having a good season. I think Alex Smith should automatically, win it. Just all that he's been through, for him to get back out there and get back on the football field again was just unbelievable. Was really just crazy. So, I know they lost that game, but I think as a Redskins fan, I would be happy to see Alex Smith. As a football fan, I was excited to see, hear that Alex Smith was back out there on the field. It was really exciting to see. And hopefully Kyle Allen is okay. He obviously got injured yesterday. Hopefully he is okay. That is what resulted in Alex Smith coming in. So hopefully he is okay, but really is great to see Alex Smith back out there on the football field again, playing the game he loves. So the Rams did win that one. Offense late. Defense played really well yesterday. 8 sacks. So big day for the Rams. They win. Ravens, Bengals. Ravens won 27-3. I mean, Joe Burrow, this was his first, you could say, performance that he just wants to forget about. This was his first performance of his young career that he just wants to forget about. You could tell. I mean, you could really tell. This was the first performance of his young career that he just wants to forget about. He went 19-30, 183 yards, 9.6 was his average, 1 interception. He endured 7 sacks yesterday. He got sacked 7 times. He just couldn't do anything. He just was not able to do much. I mean, just really struggled. This Ravens defense came out big. I mean, this Ravens defense played real well. This Ravens team, I think this is the best we've seen this Ravens team play all season. 27-3, they won. They just dominated that game. And the Bengals just look lost out there. Burrow, this was his first performance of his career. And you're going to have these, right? You're going to have these performances. This was Burrow's first performance of his career, of his young career that has a bright future ahead of him. This was his first performance that he just wants to take it and throw it out the window and never remember it. Just forget about it. You can now, starting today, you're preparing for next week. So the Bengals and Joe Burrow have to forget about that win. That game. Ravens played very well. They win. Panthers, Falcons. Obviously, this prompted Dan Quinn to get fired. Falcons lose 23-16. Gurley had a big day. Had the most Gurley-like day we saw in a while. I mean, it was unbelievable yesterday. Was averaging 8.6 yards per carry at 121 yards and a touchdown. Had a big day yesterday for the Atlanta Falcons. But the Falcons was not enough. Matt Ryan struggled really badly. He had a rating of 63.6, 21-37. 226 yards, 10.8 was his average, and 1 interception. Just really struggled yesterday and endured 2 sacks. Really did not play well yesterday, and I needed him to play well. He got me 6 points in fantasy, which was just absolutely horrible. But the Falcons lost. That prompted Dan Quinn to get fired. This is a team now that's 0-5 and, looking ahead to the future. And possibly this team goes 1-15, 2-14, 0-16. Trevor Lawrence could be the next man up. Matt Ryan's era might be coming to an end soon. But the Falcons lose. Panthers 3-2. They're up there in the NFC, South, I think, or North? Yeah, NFC North, I think, or whatever. So, there's definitely some chance. NFC South. There's definitely a chance for this. There's definitely a chance here for this Panthers team to take over. Teddy Bridgewater's been playing well, and they're without Christian McCaffrey. Robbie Anderson's looked amazing. DJ Moore had a big game yesterday. Bridgewater's been playing well. And Mike Davis is playing well, but when you get McCaffrey back, that's even a better player. I'm telling you, man, the Panthers are playing well. Next up, we got the Texans and the Jaguars. Texans moved to 30-14 on the season, they won 30-14. They moved to 1-4 on the season. The Texans played really well. Bill O'Brien, obviously they lost yesterday, or they won yesterday. Bill O'Brien obviously really struggled, as the head coach. And yesterday, you could tell the Texans were hoping to win that game. We're hoping to win that game, see them go out there and win, see Deshaun Watson go out there. And, this was the first time I think you saw these Texans team, all the players on the team, really, you could tell they really were having fun. You could really tell they were really having fun. Even though they are 1-4, I do think this very well could be a team that could turn their season around. I mean, you look at, next week, they do play the Titans, which is going to be an interesting game. But, this is definitely the team that's got the talent. I really do think it was the coaching. We all know how good Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt, and all of them could be at times. I do think this team could very well turn it around. Maybe not make the playoffs, but definitely turn it around and maybe make things interesting. Maybe finish, 7-9, something definitely should be interesting. But the Texans did, in fact, win, and that was a big win for them. So they avoid starting off 0-5, and they move to 1-4 in the season. They win that game. Upcoming games we got today, the Saints-Chargers game. Saints come in 7-point favorites. Over-under is 49.5. The Broncos-Patriots game got postponed, and tomorrow's the Bills-Titans game. As of right now, tomorrow the Bills-Titans will play. So these are how I did this week on my picks. So this week I went a total of 8-4. I went 8-4. There was a total of 12 games on. plus the postponement of, right? I'm pretty sure there's 12 games, right? Because then there's plus the postponement of, okay, yeah, so look, you still got, postponement of the Patriots-Broncos game. Then you didn't have the Lions or the, you didn't have the Lions. You didn't have the Lions or the, Packers play. So that's a game in itself. That's one game there. And then you didn't have the Patriots-Broncos haven't played. That's 2 games. And then you have 2 games still to go. You still have tonight's game and tomorrow's game. So that's why I'm only 8-4. But this week I did, in fact, at the moment, this week I went 8-4. Moved my record to 54-23, which is pretty good. This was definitely a kind of a rough week. If I get the next 2 days picks wrong and I'm 8-6, that's pretty rough. But if I could win these, if I can get tonight's pick correct and tomorrow's pick correct, that would be 10-4, and I'll be perfectly fine with that. So I went 8-4 so far this week with my picks. I moved my record to 54-23, which is good. So still way above 500, still 21 games above, or still 31 games above 500. So I have an odd feeling if I continue if I continue to do this, I have an odd feeling I will probably finish over 500 for the season. I would hope. I would have to really, 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 really do really bad. Like, I would have to start having some weeks where I go like 1-13 on my picks or 1-15 on my picks if I want to really do so. So I went 8-4 this week. That moves my record to 54-23 overall. And so pretty good with that. And now we move on to tonight's game, which is the Saints and the Chargers. The Saints come into this game 2-2. Chargers come in 1-3. Little Herbert Breeze action tonight. A pretty good game. Saints come in 7-point favorites. Over under 49.5. Bosa is questionable. With a tricep, he's questionable. Some players that are questionable tonight for the Saints. The Saints are going to be losing once again another key player. Jared Cook is questionable. Marshawn Lattimore, who's another key player there, questionable. You have Michael Thomas. He was questionable. He is out. He obviously just came back from the ankle injury. It was a big gain for the Saints. Everybody was like, okay, the Saints now can maybe get on a run because they're really missing Michael Thomas. It was Breeze. They could get on a run. Maybe this is where Breeze starts to turn around, look like Breeze we saw last season. That's not the case. Michael Thomas punches a teammate, gets benched. He'll be out for tonight's game. So just keep an eye out for that. That could affect things because you can tell the Saints have not been playing great, have not been playing very well. Same thing, Breeze has not been playing very well without Michael Thomas. You could really tell they've missed Michael Thomas, and punching a teammate does not help. So Michael Thomas got benched. He is out for tonight's game. So even though it says he's questionable, he is in fact out. So in fantasy, I'm sorry, I know, just stupid decisions. I mean, that's not an injury. It wasn't an injury. He was healthy. It's just, you can't do anything about that in fantasy, It's just stupid decision on his part to punch a teammate. So, that stinks if you have him in fantasy and you were hoping, let's just say you're down by a couple of points and you need him to do well. Sadly, he is not going to play tonight, so, that stinks. But, so he'll be out. So just, keep your eye. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. I already put down my score, so let me just check what my score was again. I have the Saints winning. But let me just check. What was my score? Okay, so I think the Saints will win. Let me just check the over-under. What was my over-under? Okay, so I have the Saints winning tonight's game, 35-24. I understand without Michael Thomas. I understand that, but still, this is a Saints team. I think, Chargers Saints is Saints are 2-2. Chargers obviously 1-3. Like I said, I have the Saints winning. Like I just said, 35-24. I have them winning. Over under is 49.5. I take the over on the over under. I think the Saints cover with the 7 points. So I do think the Saints win this game. 35-24, and I take the over on the over under, and I think the Saints will win. So that's my prediction for tonight's game. Tomorrow I'll predict the Bills Titans game if in fact that game is played. So that's what I got for tonight's game. Like I said, overall, that was a pretty good week, another good week of football. Even though the Jets lost and it was horrible, but even, for game pick wise, for individual level, I thought I did pretty well. So hopefully tonight I can get another good game pick and get that correct. So these are tonight's game, or this is fantasy now, fantasy football. So some things in regards to fantasy football. On my one league, I'm on my way to 3-2. My record right now at the moment is 2-2. In both my leagues. My one league, I won this week more than likely. I'm winning 93-61 right now. I still have Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry to play tonight. He still got Alvin Kamara. So unless if Alvin Kamara puts up 32 points and Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry get me both 0 points, I will win. Unless if he gets 33 points. So I will probably win tonight unless if Kamara somehow puts up like 50 points. I will probably win tonight. This is how it went. Watson. I had Watson in, got me 24, Drake 12, Robinson 4, Hill 14, Evans 10, Gibson 4, Rams defense 14, Rodrigo Blankenship 11. And my bench was Ertz, Hilton, Breeze, Steelers defense McKinnon, and DJ Chark. And I still have Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry to play. So this league, I'm on my way to 3-2. And as for my other league, I am on my way to 2-3. I lost one. At the moment, I'm losing 113-100. He still got Keenan Allen to play. So this was my league this week. Matt Ryan got me 6 points. Elliott got me 22 points. Carson got me 13. Juju got me 2. Robinson got me 9. Kittle got me 4. Gurley got me 21. Rams defense got me 14. Harrison Butker got me 6. And my bench was Adams, Moore, Ertz, Johnson, Bills defense, Woods, and Rodgers. So I would have probably won this game if Matt Ryan could have gave me way more points and if Juju Smith-Schuster would have gotten way more points instead of 4 receptions and 28 yards. So that would have been much better, but we ended up losing. So I lose tonight. I lose in fantasy. My other league, I will move to 2-3. It's not official yet, but I am on my way to that. And like I said, in my other league, I'm going to move to 3-2. I got Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry still to go. So I'm assuming Keenan Allen gets me 9 points and Hunter Henry gets me 5. That's, 14. I'll take that. So, decent. So, obviously, not ideal, but, 3-2 and 2-3 are not ideal, but definitely, decent. So, at the moment, that puts me at 3-2 plus 2-3. That's 5-5. So, it's, no, 5-5. So, 5-5. So, I'm still stuck at 500. So I'm still stuck at 500 for combined. So 2-3 in one league, 3-2 in one league, and 2-3 in the other. 2-3, the 3-2 league, I've got a pretty good shot at maybe having a couple good next weeks. So definitely going to be very interesting to see. So, by the way, I want to congratulate the Lakers and LeBron James for getting another championship. The Lakers did in fact win last night, so I just want to congratulate them. Obviously, that was a big win for them. They win the NBA Finals, and they win the NBA Finals, and they will move. LeBron James wins his 4th NBA Final, and he wins another MVP. Just absolutely amazing what he has done for that team and for that team, for the Cavs, for the Heat, for the Lakers, for what he's done in the NBA is really just remarkable. So they win another final. Now let's move on to MLB playoffs. So MLB playoffs will continue today. Thursday. Okay. So yesterday, the Rays beat the Astros 2-1. The Astros got off to a quick start. Jose Altuve hit a home run early in that game, but was not enough for the Tampa Bay Rays. As after that, the Rays ended up winning 2-1. Arozarena had a home run and a couple good plays after that. Snell got the win. Snell really, 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 really played well. Snell pitched. Snell went 5 innings, right? Hold on. Yeah, Snell pitched real well yesterday. For the Tampa Bay. Pitched real well. You're talking about a guy who, let up an early home run, was able to bounce back and really played well. So today's game are the Astros and the Rays and the Dodgers and the Braves. I give the Rays the win and the Dodgers a win. I think the Dodgers win. I know the Braves have been so good, but the Dodgers just, I just think Bueller, Fried, I just think the Dodgers win. I just think their hitting is so good. I think the Dodgers win and the Rays win. And if you're wondering who I am rooting for the rest of the season, I don't want the cheaters to win. But if you're wondering who I'm rooting for, I am, in fact, rooting for, I do this a lot of times, when the Yankees are out of the playoffs, if you ask me another team that I would want to, win it all, I do hope that the Dodgers win it all. I just think it would be cool. I like a lot of their players on that team. Yankees are obviously out of it, so if you had to give me a team to root for, I would root for the Dodgers. So I am going to probably just hope that the Dodgers win it all, because I don't want the cheaters to win. I want the Rays to beat the cheaters and move on to the World Series, because I don't want the cheaters back in the World Series. But I don't want the Rays to win because they also beat the Yankees. I don't want the Rays to win the World Series. And, the Braves, Dodgers, I don't mind. Really, whoever wins this Dodgers-Braves series, I'll be rooting for them against whoever wins the Cheaters-Rays series. Is pretty much what I'm trying to get. So I'll be rooting for the NL team in the World Series is what I'm going to try to say. Because I hate the cheaters. If the Rays are in the World Series, if the cheaters make the World Series, I'll still root for the Braves or the Dodgers. And if Rays make the World Series, I would still root for either the Dodgers or the Braves, whoever wins. So pretty much whoever is in the World Series for the NL, I will be rooting for them is what I'm going to try to say. So my ideal would I do hope that the Dodgers win it all, especially that I did have the Dodgers making the World Series in my other bracket, in my one bracket. So, it would make sense for me to root for them. But for them, now that the Yankees are out. Sadly, the Yankees are out. Just some dumb decision making. We've got a lot of moves we got to make this offseason to make this team possibly now a true World Series contender. But, it stinks. So. October baseball still on, though. 2 games today. That's going to kind of be the story of it. It's going to be 2 games. That's pretty much it. Actually, I could check the times of those games for you. So the Rays-Astros game. The Rays play at 4:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the Dodgers-Braves. The Dodgers play at 8:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So those are those 2 games. So, should be good. So, with all that being said, that's what I got for the podcast today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Another big football Sunday in the books. Week 5 is now officially in the books. We are on to week 6. Just crazy how quick the season's moving. Really is crazy. So that's exciting, though. We're moving quickly through a season. Past week or 2 for the NFL has been pretty rocky. There's been a lot of bumps in the roads with all these scheduling changes, but hopefully they can get those cleaned out quickly and get back to normalcy on the football field and not watching a game on Tuesday. So that would definitely be odd. But yeah. So with all that being said, that's what I got for the podcast. That's kind of all I got. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy another big sports night tonight. Football and baseball on. That football game should be really good. So football and baseball on tonight. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I will see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.